Going up now.
All right.
All right.
It's live, guys. We're live.
Let's get our jam on. Got to get the music going. There it is.
Going up now. Going up now.
Yeah, we on the Sistahship. Come with us, we on the Sistahship. Yeah, we on the Sistahship. Roll with us, we on the Sistahship. Sistahship, we got this now. Come on, let's talk about it. Sistahship, we got this now. Come on, let's talk about it. Sistahship, we got this now. Come on, let's talk about it. Sistahship, we got this now. Come on, let's talk about it. We're my sisters, we got this sisters. You go with me and I'll roll with ya. We're my sisters, we got this sisters. You go with me and I'll roll with ya. Substance, sis, we know we on a mission. Help each other get over some things. Real strength bring change. Cause we've been through the rain. Now it's time to shine like flame. Let's talk about
Life skills. Hey, hey, ladies. The Sistahship Network is in the house. Happy Sunday, everyone. How's everybody doing today?
Great.
Awesome.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. So, to get us started, we're going to talk about our lovely sisters of the Sistahship and our amazing guest. Here we have Sherry, who is Lady Wisdom. Hello, Sherry.
Hey. How's everybody today? So, today's topic, docile versus the strong woman. I believe that this is a topic that's going to send us around and around and around. Everybody's entitled to opinion. Everybody has definitions. But let's see how we could work it together and get some clarity and understanding for those that are listening and also those of us that are in the group. So I will introduce Taji.
Hey everybody, I'm Taja, the mindset coach. How's everybody feeling today?
Good. We doing well.
Good. I'm glad to be here to give my perspective on the topic. I think these are two very important terms for women, and we really need to show how they are interconnected is my main factor, right? There's not you versus them. It's how they interconnect. And we need to bring that out, and that's my piece to share here, after I hear all of your insights.
The mindset coach, we love you, Tasha.
And we have Trish in the house. She is
Hello, queens. Hello.
Hey, lady.
Hey.
Ooh.
Yeah.
This topic. It's like, where do you see yourself?
Right.
I don't think I ever went to the other side. I don't see myself on the lower end of this topic. I consider myself that strong woman, possibly too strong of a woman, if there's such a thing. But we'll see. After I listen to how everybody else describe, maybe I'll fall into the middle.
And that's a good place to be.
Yeah.
Balance.
Yeah.
So Sherry, I'm just gonna give you a quick, like the lady said here, and to me, I think there's a balance personally. I think you're right, Taja, there's an interconnection, and I view things as there is, and again, I think it's dependent to Sherry's point on how you describe what a strong versus a docile woman is. And again, from my point of view, and my opinion is that they are interconnected. There are moments in your relationships, in your situations, that you may do act or approach things in a different light. Whether it's a level of strength or the way either you communicate or how you maneuver in that relationship, or how you kind of step back and allow the leading. So I think again, it varies. I have differing opinions based on, again, the situation that you're in, whether it be a workplace, whether it be a relationship, just in society and how women are viewed.
Right.
Those who are out there, again, from a protesting standpoint, women's rights, or, just anything, family relationships, raising children, and being that strong figure for your children, and then also your mates. So again, I have again, I'm more of a, got to have a balance across these particular, I guess, terms that are being utilized, but everybody has a different way they view strong versus docile. So I'm looking forward to this discussion, because
Right.
I think it'll be a hot topic. I think everybody views things differently, so opinions are going to vary. And as long as we all understand one another and respect one another and how we view things, this is the whole point, right? Communication is key.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. So I actually, some time ago, I was thinking about the way women have been characterized. I'm told a lot. So I have been called, so docile, the word docile means to be easily managed, somebody that's trainable, that is handled, somebody that can be taught to think the way somebody instructs us. So in other words, she's more obedient, or a person could be obedient, because docile doesn't just, it's not a definition or an adjective that describes women.
Right.
It's a word in a dictionary that happens to mean weak, lacking the power. To be strong happens to mean having the ability to show great power, a firmness, solidifying, unyielding, just kind of firm, like you have a firm stance. So let us be clear, right? Let me be clear. So sometimes some people can be intimidated, male and female. You could be in a room full of people, and males and females you can intimidate them without actually knowing that you're doing it. Does that mean that you're strong? There's just a presence about you, right? So, all right. So when I think of a strong woman, some people think that a docile woman is a submissive woman. I don't necessarily agree in that definition, that's a submissive woman. I find that the submissive woman happens to be a strong woman. A lot of people may not agree with that. And the reason I say that she is strong is because a submissive woman is willingly given authority over and allowing someone else to lead her and guide her. Can it naturally happen? It should naturally happen.
Yes.
It should naturally happen to the point where you don't have to tell me you need to submit to me because I'm a man. For those of you that are coming out of church and might need the Bible tells us that you are to submit to your own husband. We got to learn to stop giving husband privileges or wife privileges away to someone that isn't our husband. So it's just because he walks up to you and tells you to be submissive doesn't mean that you need to be submissive. So I say a submissive woman is a strong woman. I say that a strong woman is also someone that handles her business, that she doesn't have to tell the world she's strong. Her character, who she is, the way she moves, the way she speaks, and how she handles the things gives it her own definition. If you find that to be strong, you could find it to be intimidating. It's not manly. We've had some men that made the comment that women are so strong that they are their own man in a relationship.
Yes.
Yep.
That's rude, it's disrespectful, and it just shows that your mind is immature and you're weak. Those that think that way. That's my opinion. And I think that one of the biggest problems is sometimes, I can't say it's all the time, is the relationships that we carry with us. And people think that I'm talking about male and female all the time. I'm not. Your sister is a relationship. Your girlfriend is a friendship. So other people in your life can identify you or try to categorize you or actually feel like they should put you in their place. I've had a sister friend that I've had for over 30 years call me weak. And I literally was stunned. Like, she said, that was the first time I heard the word docile. She called me a docile woman. She said, when you was in your relationship with your ex-husband, you were docile. And I was like, why would you say that? And she said, I felt like you was really weak. And I said, why did you find that I was weak? She said, because you submitted to your husband. Like, he knew where you were. You was doing everything. And that's just a weak woman. You shouldn't have to call him and tell him where you are or what you're doing, or when you out with your friends, letting him know. I said, I actually disagree with you, right? I disagree with you. And I had to tell her, I said, because you're loud and opinionated and always got a voice and always got to be in somebody's something, doesn't make you a strong woman. It just makes you loud and opinionated. So if you're considering me weak because I was submissive to my husband, then maybe that explains why you don't have one. And I had to leave it there because I was actually having a conversation, and for it to not become an extreme disagreement, I had to, bridle my tongue, like, like, okay. But that actually takes strength when you're dealing with somebody that is loud and boisterous and feel like they could say anything. I think maturity has a lot to do with whether you are strong. I mean, how many of us actually sat down and could say that our mothers were weak?
Definitely not me.
I don't think
where I come from.
I don't think that many women or men can really say that, or will say it, not openly, because in our minds, our moms was strongest women we know. Our grandmothers, our aunties. We have that auntie that she's cool, but sometimes you had to go to her because her wisdom was just, you knew that she was going to give you a truth, whether it hurt or not, but you trusted her. Then you got those relationships that you can't. So I say all that to say, those are the definitions that I see, or I understand. So that's my understanding of it. I do believe that it has a balance, Steph. I think that you definitely have to have a balance, but I think that comes with the balance of your relationships in your life.
Right.
Sometimes you're gonna have to shed some of them extra layers of trash, and they wasn't trash at first. They were the latest styles and fashions. But then when you're cleaning up your mindset and learning how to be, am I right, Taja?
That's right.
At some point, you got to let go, right?
Yeah, because that's what I'll add in here if nobody wants to jump in.
Go ahead, Taja.
I think you made some great points. And I think we as women, I'm looking at Mama C in the chat and even Jane, as women, we get, what word do I want to use? I want to say we get labeled very easily on what you'll be instead of the points in life where you grow, right? Because you mentioned a lot of times where you could be submissive in a relationship, or you could be strong, and then that means you're loud in this. And what I would say is those are very real characteristics, but that's not true for every individual, right? Because everyone has to grow and learn things. We all come from different backgrounds. And even when you talked about your friend in that situation, Sherry, right? For you not to respond the way you did, that was in a sense submissive, right? You're going to let her take this shine because you don't even need the aggravation. Or maybe she's so far from what you are, you would never even connect. So there's no point. You know what I mean? Like sometimes we have to realize the battles that we don't fight. And sometimes it's not worth it. And then sometimes in the moments when people say things to you like that you thought loved you and cared about you, they do, but it's time for them to move forward in your life. Everyone isn't meant to stay. And that's in all relationships. And so what I'll say is about all of it, whether you're docile, whether you want to label yourself as strong, it's through experiences. Experiences make you strong. Experiences show you about being docile, because at the end of the day, sure, we perceive our mothers or our fathers or anybody, friends, in different ways, depending on their situation, right? There are some moments where someone might say, oh, you were a little weak, Taj, or there might be some moments, oh, you're really strong. And the reason I say this is because we all learn and we grow. And when you reflect now as an adult, looking back at your mom or your aunt or your dad or brother, whoever it is, a friend, you can start to understand when you're going through your own relationships and shit. You know what I'm saying? Now it's like, oh, I get the role she was playing because of this. It wasn't that you were taking something. It was that you were trying to make your family work. Everyone has a position. And those are the things we need to look at instead of being judgmental.
Yes.
Because docile, actually, when I was doing my research, comes from the Latin root of docere, meaning teachable. So when we say the child is docile or a person is, that means you can take direction. You know how to listen, right? Those are good things. That's not something to
negative,
not applaud or negative, right? And being strong really usually has something to do with the physical persona, meaning muscular, or you're able to withstand a lot of pressure or force, right? We sometimes or somehow connect strong to powerful. That's not the same, but that's what we like to think, and that's what we like to do. So who's to say that you can't be some of both? And I think the better woman or the better individual is the one who is and knows how to master both being strong and docile, because there's a time for everything.
Right.
I told you guys before, right? I'm Muslim. In a lot of ways, my role as a woman is to be submissive to my husband, to be quiet in my tone. But if you hear me talk, right, you guys know I'm loud, but not loud and aggressive. That's just my tone of voice. And if I am excited, it's like, woo! And look, if I'm mad, it's there too, right? So at the end of the day, those are things, while I read the Quran and I study and perfect my religion, I have to remember to lower my tone. Okay. And not because I was negative in my loud tone, but just to lower my tone because it is a part of my culture. Respecting my husband, listening to my husband. And it's not because I wanted to be the aggressor or the man in a relationship, but I do come from a single, strong woman. So certain things that I saw is just what I know and what I thought was the right way. You have to get into a marriage. You have to learn a person to understand what works for your household, right? And the things that will keep you guys strong. So it's all a learning game, even in friendships. So at the end of the day, I don't really think it's about one versus the other. Like I said, I think it's about interconnecting and realizing really the definitions and really what they mean, instead of what we put on them as society and then we label our women with, and then we pin them up against each other. Because you should listen to your husband. You should know how to take direction. You should know how to be coachable and teachable. Period, right? But then you also need to be able to withstand things on your own, be a solid individual, to be forward thinking for yourself, so that submissive doesn't turn into controlled. Right. See, that's what we really give docile women, right? We really say, oh, you're controlled, like your friend was saying to you. Oh, you let him know everything you're doing. Maybe because that's what you want to do. Right. I had that when I was young. My mom, I was one of the only friends who didn't have a curfew, didn't have any restrictions on me. But you know what? I called my mom every time I went somewhere. I let her know, because what I know in my head is no matter what happened to me, my mom was going to show up.
That's right.
So it wasn't about the control. It's about who has you. You know what I mean? Who's in your corner, and making them aware. So people are raised different and they learn differently. Okay. So that's why they put these labels on them. But that's why I said we have to be careful on mixing real definitions with what society projects. So docile does not mean controlled, and strong does not mean powerful, but they all can work together when we talk about it, and we allow people to be who they are in those moments and not judge them. That's what I'll say.
Yeah. Taj, I mean, you make a great point, and I think it goes back to even what Sherry was saying as far as maturity is concerned. You know, and you know, Sherry, when you mentioned about the girlfriend, and I know we had this conversation, and I feel sometimes we sabotage each other as women, because to your point, Sherry, as well as Taja, when you said, hey, you know, that girlfriend will tell you, you shouldn't have done this, and you should speak to him this way, or you should have reacted this way. At the end of the day, you know, you can't judge somebody for who they are, who they want to, how they want to approach a situation, because at that moment in time, there might be a reason for that. There might be a reason why they need to manage it the way they need to manage it. It doesn't make them any weaker than anybody else.
Absolutely.
It just makes they have a more mature mentality, but that doesn't mean control, right? It's just that I need to, at this point in time, absorb what just occurred in that situation. And you as a friend should not, you know, if they're really your friends, they shouldn't be coming at you and telling you how you should have reacted or whatever. If I didn't ask you your opinion, please don't give me your opinion, because at the end of the day, I don't need somebody to pile on me and make me feel some kind of way, because at the end of the day, I'm managing my situation the way I need to manage it, right, wrong, or indifferent, because that's the place that I'm at that point in time. Correct. So I think as women, we have this need sometimes to, and maybe sometimes we do it in love because we care about the person, and you know, we don't realize that sometimes we're hurting them when we're kind of like, you know, judging them or telling them what to do. And Sherry, you brought that up when we were talking. Sometimes you just got to step back and allow that person to deal with the situation they need to deal with. And if they have a question or they feel they need advice, allow them that freedom and that ability to have that conversation when they're ready to have it.
Absolutely.
But stop sabotaging your relationships with your sisters. And I mean sisters as in females. You know what I'm saying? We need to stop sabotaging our relationships because we feel strongly about a situation that we feel we would have reacted a certain way and they didn't. It is what it is. Allow them that freedom to do as they wish or as they need. And if they need help, they'll bring you into the loop. But just let that stuff, you know, we got to stop doing that. And to your point, if that's that continuous action or reaction that person has every single time you're having a discussion or whatever, then it's time for them you need to kind of separate yourself from those type of relationships.
Absolutely.
But that's actually, to me, that's being controlling in your relationship with your friend, sister, aunt, mother, whomever it is. That's a control mechanism. That is not a friendship. That is not a true friendship, and allowing that person to be who they are in that moment.
There is I can't think of the guy's name. Okay, no, I just found it. So there's a guy on Instagram. I do a couple of social medias because I keep up. That's how family keeps in track of me. And I don't actually watch it a whole lot myself, but there's this guy, Kevin Samuels, that is on Instagram. He is the most disrespectful, degrading male when it comes to females, especially the Black female. He's very, he gets on, and I don't know what it is when these women are having these conversations with him, but he puts people in box. He puts the Black woman in a box, and he decides that Black women should weigh less than 150 pounds, and that a Black woman should do this, that a Black woman should be that way. She should basically shut her mouth and be seen, not heard, and do whatever it is that the Black man is suggesting or telling her.
Who raised him?
That's what I'm saying. He's a weak.
I don't know him.
Look, Trish, nobody.
I don't know him
You have a
personally.
group of people that aren't raised, right? They just get older. That's one of them.
It's quite a few men that has his trash mouth, but he feels like he hangs up on them. He calls them out of their name. He is the most rudest. Yeah. And the thing that bothers me, I think it bothers me most, is that these women continue to partake in conversation with him. Like, you could not possibly have conversation, be disrespectful and degrading to me, and I'm going to continuously give you play. Like, it's like spending your dollar, right? Do you know the power of your dollar? The power of our dollar is so powerful that we are fools when we spend it where we're not accepted. We're not celebrated in a lot of places, but then we spend our dollar there, not realizing that our dollar speaks. If we stop going into those nail salons where the women are being disrespected and by the workers and the owners of these places, they would learn how to change, or they would just close down. They would shut down.
Right.
But you got so many of us that needs to come together, and we just haven't. Those are part of being, like you said, the balance.
Yeah.
Teach us. We need generational teachers that will teach us how to, if you see where I'm weak, help balance me. You know, like
that comes with them being docile, right? And as a culture, especially Black women, is specifically, right? Or just Blacks, period, men and women. We're not necessarily keen to mentorship and therapy, right? So it's very hard to do what you're saying. So a person, these women that you're talking about that feed into this man, and let's not act like we don't have women that do the same thing with men, right? Who act like they don't need them and all those things.
Yep.
This is because you don't know your self-worth. And again, I said self-worth, meaning you don't value yourself. So that way you project what you feel about you onto others. Like, let's not be mistaken. He doesn't really feel like that because you're telling me that's how you feel about his mother. That's how you feel about his sister or daughter he births.
Look, it's possible. It is the way he feels about his mother.
But I doubt it, right? Especially when you hold your baby girl. You would never want her to have someone like that. So these are the things that, you know, we have to nurture in our societies. It's very hard because we do all come from different backgrounds. And like we say, the judgment part is where everything gets mixed up. We have to learn to see these kinds of things and know that that man needs a hug. Somebody, somewhere something went wrong. Right?
Yes.
But we get so fueled at first that's all that comes out of us is anger. And look, I'm telling you guys, if you knew like how much I grew, because initially, this is what we'll talk about, right? Being a mindset. We can never stop our initial reactions, right? Those are natural. If you come on here right now and say something about me and curse, my initial reaction is going to get angry, right? But as an adult now and a mindset coach and someone who's had experiences in different things, even in my anger, now I can know how to present myself to you. Even in my anger, I can talk to you so I don't get to that level I used to get when Taja was 18 and 15, right? I'm 33 now. I can handle myself, whether it be in a corporate environment, right? At work. Work situations make you angry all the time. But you have to learn how to deal with people and deal with them professionally, right? As an adult, when you are in your marriage, please, let's not act like you don't get to the roof, right? On situations and topics. But you have to learn how to communicate with that partner in those times, or at least take a step back, give yourself a minute, and then come and let's talk about this so that doesn't happen again. Sherry, in that friendship, if that's a person that you really value, it was a miscommunication, right? She really cares about you and she didn't like seeing you in that way, and maybe is trying to prevent it in the future situation. It just didn't come out right. You know what I mean? So now you revisit that at a later time, right? I do that with my friends. I hear them first, right? I listen, because sometimes initially that's what they need. They need someone to listen to them, to hear it. Not necessarily an opinion, right? They just want a friend. That's what I do. I listen and I hear. When it comes to the time where I feel like they've healed and moved past that situation, now I can assess them. That way, when we move forward, we don't get back in a situation that we previously in. You know what I mean? Now I can talk to you, because me talking to you as a coach or as your real friend, you won't hear that when like Steph was saying, like, you don't hear that when you're currently going through your own situation. You don't need my interjection now. You don't need my opinion now. Deal with that. Let's talk about it. Let's see how you feel. I'll hear you out. Now, later, when you move past that, we can talk about, hey, let's talk about this and that, or how you really felt. That's what we have to do. We have to just do better as a society, like Stephanie was saying, friendships and relationships, to not judge each other. We gotta see the indicators when people need help and support and love, instead of just feeling like everybody is you. No one handles a situation like I would handle it, especially not in your own marriage, in your own relationship with your family. We all know how each other works. We know what buttons to push. We know what battles not to fight. That's what you have to stick to. And we just have to do better on nurturing each other, especially in this society now. Like, I mean, even if we weren't talking about as a culture or as women, we see it now in just in America. Look at all the things you see on the news on a daily basis. But if you really look in your own personal life, you know there's a lot more love around the world than hate, right? But TV will have you convinced that we hate each other. We're at each other's throats and this and that. And it's not necessarily true. You know what I mean? So that's what I say. I just say that we need to hone in and focus on what truly matters, and stop putting and projecting what we think and what we feel and how we do things and what we know on others. And a lot of that comes with mixing, like I say, real definitions with societal projections. That's what it is.
So Jane asked, why isn't the platform shutting him down? So I'm going to answer that. They're not going to shut somebody down that's getting followers.
Thank you.
As long as somebody is following him and they're still communicating with him, he's business to them.
Yep.
Yes.
And so it's either
and if it's egregious enough and he's getting content, they're gonna love it. Yeah, they don't care.
Right. So, and then you also had this one young lady that told him that he changed her life, and he changed her mind about how she was living, because he's such a great coach, and he calls himself a life coach. And Jane, maybe in the world that he lives in and where he lives, maybe it works for some of those. Does it mean? I personally don't have any respect for him. That's my personal opinion from the few conversations that I've seen him have, because he's very disrespectful and he's very rude. That doesn't make you, again, being loud, opinionated, disrespectful does not make you right. You can scream at the top of your lungs and be a complete 100% wrong. But as long as people are listening, especially on a platform where it's a matter of views, where these people are getting paid, they're going to keep them on.
Yeah.
They lock you out for things that they don't want you to be on these networks with. But it's those minds that has titled, especially the Black woman, as being intimidating, angry, bitter. Then he talks about the way they look. Those that wear wigs, those that wear weaves, those that wear makeup. He talks about those, the way they dress. Like,
does this man talk about himself at all?
It amazes me. It amazes me how it's those kind of influences, I for lack of a better word, it's those kind of influences that have these docile titles and the submissive title and the strong woman titled the definitions incorrectly. For lack of, like, you understand what I'm saying? Because if like you said, to be docile, you have to be teachable, right? So you're easily handled, you're easily managed, and you're trainable. Technically, it's the same thing as being taught. You're easily to be taught. Like, you want to learn something, you have to be teachable. In order to be a good leader, you have to be a good follower. And so when these titles are being thrown around, if I'm only getting that information and the only definition that I'll ever get is saying that a docile woman is a weak woman, that's all I know. I only know what I'm taught, not because I've done did the looking up myself. I say that to say that sometimes it's that this man's mentality is wise. If you got all these men that's saying the same thing, we are all on certain platforms, even on Facebook, and certain groups where the men are constantly making it about the women, right? Women should do this and women should do that. And do you think you have some men that want to see the Black woman and the white woman go head to head? Or they're gonna get them a white woman when they make it to where they're going because she's more docile, right? Because she's more submissive. She'll let him do whatever he wants to do. So are you saying that your thing is just to get over? So it's kind of like when you sit back and you think about the things that the definitions that have been put on women. Like I said, when we first began, docile and strong don't necessarily mean women. They don't go hand in hand. Like, you don't look up the word woman and it says, well, woman, A, docile. Or B, strong. It's not that way, because you can be considered docile with a male.
Anybody.
To be as a female. I'm just saying that some of these, it's people like that has put that opinion out there, and it's his opinion.
Yes,
his opinion.
And that's where I want to jump in, right? Trish, do you want to say anything? I feel like I'm talking, you're not saying nothing.
Trish, I want you to talk about, because you brought it up, like his upbringing, right? Or how was he raised? I think it's a good even segue into understanding kind of your growth, right? And who you had as representative, like you're growing up, your mother, your father, how your family relationships were, because I think that also is part of the element of how you also manage relationships in the future as you grow, and learn from different experiences, because you also learn from the people that were surrounded you, have surrounded you. Right. So Trish, you brought up, I think it was about, how his mother, grew.
I said, who raised him? And Todd said,
right? So, so kind of talk about that, because I think that's important to also, because I think when we really truly understand and really try to seek to understand versus constantly trying to judge and cast aspersions and things of that nature, when we really ask the question, because anytime that anybody has a very say you're in a situation, you're having a conversation, a girlfriend just jumps in and says explain, you'll be like, explain to me why you felt that way. The minute you start asking questions versus reacting to counterattack, they'll step back and say, oh, well, because of X, Y, and Z, because you got to understand where they're coming from as well. Right. So back to what you were saying, Tosh, because I think we're very quick to react to situations because we're hurt at that moment. It's just it's just gut reaction, right? You just immediately go with you
human
talk
nature
about being weak. I'm gonna come and tell you, like, you need to mind your what. But at the same token, I need to ask the question, well, why do you feel that way? Why do what showed you that?
What makes you think that?
But it comes back to, again, your past, your growth through life, who you've been surrounded with. So Trish, kind of talk to kind of just people's upbringing and what your opinion is and how you feel that kind of plays into what we're talking about as far as that strong, docile, and then the maturity levels. How do you view that?
Yes.
Okay, first, I haven't seen the show or listened to what Chevy was saying regarding this man, Kevin Samuels.
I ain't giving
Okay,
him
but from the way it was described, it's like, okay, what happened in your life?
Yeah.
Whether you was a child, and like Todd said, when I said who raised him, it was like, he raised himself.
Mm.
He went from being a child to being who he is right now. Or let's think about this. Is this for show? Is this really him? Or is he doing this to get numbers?
Yes.
You know, but if this is part of his upbringing, what happened in his life that traumatized him to feel this way about these particular females?
Mm.
You know, because you come into this world, your mother could have gave you up because she could not have raised you properly the way she felt she wanted to raise you. So or things happened to her that caused her to give you up, or maybe she was raped and didn't want to have anything to do with you because this is a product of what she went through and couldn't accept the fact of looking at you.
Right. So
That's what happened. We got you, Trish. She's like, I gotta handle mine.
So with all of that trauma that may have been on him or may be on him, he hasn't been able to accept a relationship and don't know how to work in a relationship, whether it be with a female or a male, friendship, companionship, or a marriage. So he's lost, and this is him lashing out. And for the females that have said, you changed my life, because maybe they went through the same thing. Do you take the higher road with this guy, or do you face him head on?
Well,
I let him be him.
Period.
One of the reasons he gets a lot of play is because he gets on video and he says like I said, we have other platforms, like you got social media on Facebook and Twitter and all these other things where they're asking the same questions. Like you got a lot of men that believe that Black women owe the community more. I don't agree.
Explain that.
I can't explain somebody else's pattern of thought. I don't know their mindset. I'm not trying to figure it out, but those are questions that have been thrown out. How many things we're in a mutual group, or at least I know you in the group with me. Tiff is, Steph, I believe is. I'm not sure if Taji is a part of it.
I don't know.
But we know other men that speak that crap. That, well, what is it that pretty much they want you to give them definitions. Like what is it that a woman can do? Like this one question, if you look at it, what is it that the Black woman needs to do for her community? Or how has the Black woman failed her community? How has the Black woman failed the relationships? How has Black women treated, how are they raising their kids? Those are some crazy questions, but as crazy as they are, these are questions that are being put out there.
Yeah.
So whether you're Black, green, purple, orange, or yellow, these are things that other people are seeing.
Yeah.
So when they hear on these platforms, social media is huge.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't raised on social media. So social media, I don't actually get on every platform, but I do know some of them. And that's huge questions. That's how you treat your man and how you do this and how you do that. And it's almost as if you're giving a woman the responsibility of carrying everything, right? That's technically what you're doing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so somebody that might be sitting in red zone Pennsylvania or red zone Oklahoma, somewhere, in other words, someplace that you've never heard of, they may just be listening, reading, watching, and seeing these things.
Yep.
and that's how they get definitions.
That's their
Their
So,
mindset.
okay.
That's
I'm
how they
gonna
mindset.
jump back in here. Okay.
That was
So
the hope.
back to what Sherry was saying a little bit earlier when you brought him back up and you were saying these are the definitions women are given, or the things that we're taught. So 2 points I want to make on this. These aren't definitions. These are projections, right? This is what society, right, from social media and things like that are projecting on women. As a woman, as a culture, as a person that is being influenced, it is up to you whether you accept that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Trish, when we first started this, she said, I don't see myself on the other side. I'm over here. That's a choice. She could have took either position, right? So that's what I want to make clear to everyone, right? It will always be about mindset. So don't get trapped into thinking this is a definition that someone put on you. No, someone can put a projection on you just like an opinion. So back to Jane's question of what do you do with him? Whatever you want. My thought to do with him is absolutely nothing. I don't know who he is. I don't want to know who he is. And I'm not going to find out after who he is, because he serves no purpose for me.
Right.
Now, if you want to book an appointment because he needs some mindset coaching, we could do that. But I don't have anything to offer other than help and support for the friend. Now, back to the other part, when you said these are things being taught. I won't say that either. To be taught is to learn from someone who's instructing guidance. And when I say that, I mean when you have teachers, parents, professors, any kind of person who's in a real role to teach you, gives you both sides of a coin. They don't tell you just what they think you should hear. That's what he's doing. He's giving just one side. So that's not a teacher, right?
He's manipulating.
Right.
Yes.
When you think about presidents we've had, horrible leaders we've had, they're giving one side. That's not someone who's doing anything for your best interest, because they're leaving you no room for what? Choice, right? Mm-hmm. They're projecting their thoughts and their opinions. That's not taught. And then to move further from that is that you as an individual have the ability to go and teach yourself. If you looked up the definition for docile, it does not say weak. That is not even the synonym. If you look up strong, it does not say loud and aggressive. Okay, it more speaks to your physical nature. So at the end of the day, this is why I say you must learn for yourself, and then you must follow those that teach you both sides of a coin. So no, people aren't being taught this. They're listening to social media and people that they identify with and going off of those characteristics.
Well, I agree. I agree with what you're saying. Mm-hmm. But you have to be mindful that everybody is not in a situation or place or around people that will give two sets of. They're not going to give both sides of the coin.
Oh no, you're absolutely right.
But that's have those that are not going to have the ability to do more than what somebody does in front of them. You have controlled environments where they do teach. And I'm not saying it makes it that it's okay. Mm-hmm. I'm saying that sometimes people are in situations where that's what they're taught. Like racism is taught, like literally it's taught. So I can't say that when a supremacist standing up there telling somebody that white power is better than all lives matter, but white power is better, that they're going to say, well, but this is what the Black people contributed to the world. They're not doing that. They're giving their opinion and they're teaching that to try to get people to move and be influenced in the manner in which they're doing. And that's technically all I'm saying. It's the same, it's similar.
No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
So everybody doesn't have everybody doesn't know that their opinion matters. Everybody doesn't know that they could learn more than something else. I remember seeing some years back in the late 80s, I guess I was watching Good Times or something. And on Good Times, Michael, the militant midget, they used to call him, he had did a history paper on a Black leader. And they had choices. And when they did that, he got in trouble. He got an F on his paper because he didn't choose one of the people that they chose. So when his mother asked him, why did he choose that person, or what made him do the research, said because it wasn't in that book. But that made you research it. Didn't mean that you had to change what the teacher told you. It just made you see something different. And some people are not living in a manner in which they can be taught different at this moment. Maybe they'll come into that place or that time. And I'm not saying that it's okay. I'm just saying sometimes we have to be mindful of the silent listener who can't speak.
Yeah.
Or who can't say. So and this whole thing, and Taja, you have, the mindset is huge. It is very huge. We have a lot of immature people that are speaking and call themselves teaching. We have a lot of immature people that at some point became mature and learned something different.
Right.
But it wasn't until they grew. So you're not, because you're not considered mature until you grow. And unfortunately, we got those that are immature that call themselves teaching in the world. Now, I may not agree with this guy and I may not watch his show, but when it was sent to me, it made me look. I paid attention because I felt like the person that sent it to me trusted me enough to see what was being said so I could know what was going on. And then I didn't look at it anymore. That day I looked at a couple of them that was sent to me. And then I didn't look at it anymore because his verbiage, it's like, you don't get to talk to women like that and just walk around. And I personally will not patronize you. I'm not going to get on your show. I'm not going to get on there. I'm not going to tell you I like something when I don't like it. I'm not that girl. So we as just in general, we just have to, I say always be mindful of the silent listeners. That's me. I don't want somebody saying, well, if I had that ability and I was able to, I would, but I can't. It sounds so easy for her to say, like when some people listen to us and they say, she make it sound so easy. It's not for everybody.
No.
So I speak that, but I think everything that you said is on point. Your environment plays a huge part, Trish. It's major. Something must have happened to this young man, whether he was an old man or young man when it happened. I say this to my friends all the time. Like you want to continuously call men dogs. Men don't become dogs until somebody dogged them. So they've been hurt, and hurt people. That's right. So in that, I'm conscious of that. I'm also conscious of the mindset, like Tasha said, the way people are taught, the way people think, who should be teaching and who should they be listening to, and how should they observe and what they're doing in their environment. It's huge. It is the balance, as Steffi said, you take the balance that goes on in living, like you said, you can't be docile. In other words, you can't be unteachable and learn, because in order for you to learn, you have to be taught.
Right.
So it's like everybody had, and that's why I said this conversation in itself brings up a lot of opinions, a lot of people's definitions. Now, does it make their definition right, wrong, or indifferent? I'm not saying that it's in the Webster's dictionary. I'm not saying it's in the Quran. I'm not saying it's in the Bible. I'm just saying that people define things differently as they age and they mature. Even family.
Yes.
So at some point, do I have to take the title on because somebody said it? No. I don't have to carry the title. I don't have to touch the title. I don't even have to look at the title.
Right.
But these are titles that are out there, and these are opinions that are out there, and these are things that some of us are facing, that we are up against in the world.
And if we be real, what is a title? What's a title? It's just a better word.
Walk in the community with these titles. I'm Elder so-and-so. I am Pastor such and such. I am Dr. Doolittle. I am whatever. You got people that titles mean a whole lot to you.
You're right. But do they really live up to what they're saying?
Not necessarily,
Titles
but
is exactly, exactly.
And again,
So
there goes the mindset.
yeah,
Yeah,
Back to
yeah.
like experience. That's really what I say about it. Nothing that I say at all or that we talk about here is easy at all. We all have grown and are continually growing to better versions, and in that you learn. There are times when you're strong, there are times when you aren't. There are moments. That's what those are, moments in people's lives.
Right.
I mean, as overall person, you can decide which part of the ladder you fall on, but like I said, I think they're more interconnected. And like what I'll speak on is when you talk about opinions. I mean, there's a million, right? We can't even address them all. Let's talk about really quick Muslim, right? I'm Muslim. Do you know how many opinions Americans have of Muslims when they hear certain things and when they say them? Why would I even think to speak on what people think when they hear me pray or they see me pray or wear a headscarf or anything, right? A lot of my religion for the women look identical to nuns, right? But nuns are given this high standing grace where when you see a Muslim woman with the same outfit on Kimar, right, just a face out, there's so much to be said about her. So what I'm saying is opinions are just that. That belongs to you. I don't have to touch it, look at it, like it, accept it, none of it. And for me, I don't. I've had people say, if you're a Muslim, why don't you wear a scarf? I didn't know that made me Muslim. Knew anything, right? In the book, you know that does not, because nothing like this title, right? We're going to relate that just to like the scarf situation. The title does not make me who I am, right? I was very much this before I got my certification to be a mindset coach, before I gave myself this company, right? And named myself this. I am who I am. This solidified everything for sure, right? But who I am as an individual makes me worthy of this title, right? So that's what I'm saying. It's like, that's it for me. It's just about a mindset, and that, you have to be okay with growing and accepting people and meeting them where they are and helping them along the way if they choose to want that help. Because you have a lot of people that just okay over there, right? That don't want to do anything more. Maybe this man, he wants a woman that's just like that, and that's okay, because you know what? There's a woman that's just like that. That's okay with being talked to like that, being treated like that. We know them. We've seen them. And all we can do for that matter is pray for her. But he is where he wants to be. You see what I'm saying? That's what we have to know. So at the end of the day, that's what I say. It's always about mindset, and nothing is easy. Everything is hard, but that's what makes it worth it. Because if it was easy, everybody'd be doing it.
You're right, Taja. And you know what? Going back to that, when Jane asked, like, how do we deal with people like that? And Taja, you're right. I mean, look, in society, you have everybody's got either a one-sided or they look at the picture holistically, right? There's going to be those that are just going to look at it from one side. There's those that are going to be, the thrill jumpers. They're going to jump into something because it fits kind of what they want the narrative to be, and what people are, how we project, how people are projected, like, so, if I'm the strong woman, and then you'll get guys that'll be like, oh, she too strong, or she too, back to what Sherry's point, oh, she too masculine, she's this. Well, you are projecting that on me. I am who I am.
Right.
So you either gonna love me or hate me. That's what it's gonna come down to. But I'm not going to feed into anybody's specific narrative. And that's where I think, to your point with the mindset, is you have to also understand that you are allowing people to manipulate you into thinking a certain way about anybody, regardless, right? So, and again, it goes back to your experiences, it goes back to your upbringing, it goes back to everything that you've learned and seen. And I think, to Sherry's point, I mean, to a certain degree, I agree that you're going to have so much out there, social media and everywhere else, because now we can pretty much talk to anybody across the world and within seconds forming a quick opinion. We have to also, to your point, we have to be teachable. We have to learn that we cannot allow people to dictate what that or position people a certain way because we have not learned enough about them. So we're just going to allow whatever that opinion is and call it what it is, right? Say that's what it is. There's got to be a balance in everything in society, in this world. Earth has got to be balanced, right? I mean, or else we'd be destroyed. We wouldn't even be here, right? So there's got to be a balance in everything. And I think that's the learning and the teachable aspect of this, is that we have to stop projecting what we think or what we feel that could be one-sided on others. Secondly, as a person who's receiving those messages, we have to stop just taking everything we hear for what it is, right? I mean, I have to research, I have to learn, I have to understand both perspectives. I have to look outside of myself and my own opinions, because just because of my experiences, I might feel a certain way, but my experience is not everybody else's experience. Right. So I have to see things from a holistic perspective and understand why someone feels the way they do. Mm-hmm. Why is a man feeling, and again, some men, because again, I want to just clearly say this, because there was something that was posted on the Sistahship network, and a gentleman reacted to it and said, oh, well, women bash men all the time and there's never any good stories. I'm going to tell you something. The Sistahship network is not about bashing men or women, right? It's about speaking truth. It's about being honest. It's about being open. It's about learning from one another and understanding that there has to be a balance in everything. And we have to heal and we have to learn and we have to understand. Seek to understand before you sit there and form opinions on things that you know nothing about. And that is the truth. I mean, we all are going to form opinions. We're all going to make mistakes. We're all going to, say things that are probably not appropriate, or we didn't think about them before we expressed ourselves. But, we have to, as a society, come together in unity. And the only way we're going to do that is we got to stop hating on one another.
That's right.
Women on women, men on men, men on women, women on men. Stop the, I want to say stop the violence. To me, it is. It's a volatile environment we are living in because of the fact that we can't stop these, with this gentleman that's sitting here and, talking about women and how he sees women to be and what he expects. Again, there's a level of hurt, anger, frustration, whatever it is he had to deal with throughout life, right? That made him who he is. Something happened to make him feel the way he feels. And those that are listening to him and allowing him to poison their mind are just as hurt and just as I don't want to, I hate the word weak, but it is weak in a certain way because we are allowing someone to manipulate us without really seeking to understand that there is positive influences out there. And you can't always be talking to people that are constantly negative and constantly judging and constantly telling you how you need to be. I'm my own person and everybody needs to be their own people. And we got to come out of those aspects and we got to come out of those situations and learn to heal together. And with that, it needs to be about understanding all sides, learning from one another, building from that. And again, you can have your own opinion, but don't project that on someone else who's not ready to either hear it or believe it or understand it or learn from it or whatever have you. Allow that person that space and time to kind of work through that and then come together. But, everybody's got their own place and time they're in. And I know I'm kind of ranting because this is like, all these things that I'm hearing throughout our conversation, it's just opened up a floodgate for me. It really has.
I love the fact that you brought in the men portion. I mean, saying like this is some men and women do it too, right?
Yeah.
We do bash. We talk about, sometimes we get on our high horse about we don't need this or we don't need that, and they need this and they need to do that. And I just think I'm not saying those things don't come from true places. They do. Even when the men are talking, right? They do. Just like most stereotypes come from some kind of true piece, right?
Yes.
We gotta be real with it. At the end of the day, they do. The whole story or sentence might not be true, but some part of
it was. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll say too, to your point, Stephanie, is that not only maybe someone isn't ready to accept those projections or whatever. Right. We as people have to be okay. And I forget who said it in the chat. I can't remember if it was Mama C or Jane, but we have to learn to be okay and to understand who we are individually.
Yes.
That's right.
And the reason why that's so important is because when someone comes to you with that mess and that drama, it won't even matter because I know who I am.
You know who you are.
Right.
So like when I had somebody tell me about, example, the scarf situation, I didn't lose my cool, right? I laughed because you don't know what it means to be Muslim.
Right.
Right?
It's what we've been seeing.
Exactly. Or what, back to Sherry's point, what you've been taught. And that's why I say we got to watch the way we say taught. And the reason why I say that specifically is because when you're actually taught, right, it's from different perspectives. And that's why it's necessary when you see what a teacher brings to you. I mean, anybody who's in school, even your little kids right now, they'll ask you about a story, right? I'm talking about very childish levels. My daughter's in 3rd grade. They'll give you a story. They'll say, hey, what was the protagonist and the antagonist points of view?
Yes.
It's the reason for that.
Yes.
And the reason why I say that is because you have the ability to see for yourself, because they didn't tell you to support with examples, right? Why is that? Because you need to understand those 2 points of view.
Right.
Then you can make your own decision about this story.
Right.
So even as a child, they want you to see all sides.
Yes.
When you are being controlled, you get one point of view.
Right.
They are not to be connected with taught and control. And I'm not saying that that's not a very true situation for a lot of people. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Some people are controlled, like racism. That's when you're doing that to your kid, you're controlling them. You're not teaching them anything.
Yeah.
You're controlling them. But when they get older and they hopefully get to experience the world, right, through college, through other endeavors, then they get to see a different thing. So at the end of the day, that's what I'll say most is we have to learn to be okay with who we are and stand your ground on that. And see, when you do, you don't necessarily need to be defensive.
That's right.
Argue with a person who's going to tell me something like that, right? When I know what my book says or I know about my religion. And that it speaks for relationships. That speaks on in your marriage. Sherry, back to your point with your friend. You don't need to argue with her about why you tell your husband A, Y, Z, especially when she don't have a husband. Who is she talking to, right? That's what I'll say to those points. It's like, you can laugh. Like I do the laugh in my head a lot with people because we're not on the same page.
Exactly.
Okay, right? I don't need to clarify or even respond to you. And sometimes that's the high road. That's the road, right?
Yes.
I'm not even going to respond to this because it's not worth my time.
Your energy.
Who I am. Exactly, your energy. And that's a real part that we have to protect. And people like this, like the guy you brought up, I don't even care about homeboy, right? we are not in the same zone, right? Though I can't even relate. Now, it would be, if I did go look at your platform, it would really be to reach out to the woman, right? To see what they're saying. Why are you interested in someone who talks like this?
Right.
That's right.
Right.
As a role as a woman, right? We decide we can change people. Oh, I'm going to follow him because I need to change his perspective.
Yeah.
Cut your losses. Yeah. Don't even worry about that. And that's why I say, for me, it's about really just knowing who you are. And that goes right back to this topic today. Docile and strong. Being confident in who you are and where you are on those points. It is okay to be docile. It's actually a good thing. But it's the problem with it is the projection society has put on there when they're referencing weak. That's not a definition I saw anywhere. So that's not something you were taught. That's something someone controlled you with, and now you just bought into it. And a lot of times in our culture, that especially with social media, we don't do any research. We just hear it and accept it.
That's it.
That's it. Oh, it's on news, it's real. If the popular celebrity saying it, it's real. If more than 3 people you follow saying it, it's real. Period. And we don't do any research because just by going to any dictionary, hell, Google will say boom, boom, boom. Google will let you pick synonyms, antonyms, everything. So that's what I'm saying. By default, our culture, our society is becoming lazy because we're allowing social media and influences to control what we think. Because not being taught anymore, you're being led.
It's the quick trap.
Right.
Yeah.
Quick trap.
Right.
It's like you don't even care to, oh no, they said that. That's what it is. That's what it is. These women need to do this, men need to do that, and people need to look like this. And docile women are weak, and strong women are tough and just, you know, man-like. That's not.
No.
You know what, Taj?
You know
I
what?
have to laugh because I'm thinking I saw Travis's comment, and I want to give a shout out to the brothership.
Hey Travis, that's my cousin.
They are here supporting us as well. And just so everyone knows, from the Sistahship, we do have a brothership as well.
Yes, we do.
Some
That's right.
amazing men. I can't even tell you the breadth of knowledge and depth and maturity that these men bring to the table. But Travis is one, and he just commented, you know, I personally feel the adjective docile is unflattering and likely will be viewed with a negative connotation. Hold on, somebody just jumped in. By many. Words like dutiful, accommodating, or even differential are traits. So it's interesting that his viewpoint as a man of the word docile and what it's, you know, how it's described. So
Did
you know,
see the
again,
new comment? Look at that new one that he just posted. That
content creators want you to consume their content. That dynamic monetizes provocative material. Provocative does equate to the true sentiment of the masses in this case is then. And I absolutely agree. And that's kind of where I was trying to go. And I don't even know if I said it because I said so much. But, you know, it's these people are making, and it goes back to what Sherry was saying as well. It's about the popularity, the money, anything that gives them status, right?
That's right.
We create status for others.
Yes.
We create status for others. So as long as you are allowing them a platform or giving them the platform to be who they are, they're going to continue being who they are.
right.
So either we have to remove, so back to what Jane was asking, either we have to remove ourselves from those situations so that we don't give them the platform, the money, the status, or anything. And there's still going to be people who are going to give them that, right? Because once again, there are people, some people are easily manipulated. I hate to say it, it is what it is, right? Or do believe that, you know, it is what it is. All different people in this world, they are who they are. But at the end of the day, for us, for those of us who may not believe it, who don't agree with it, who are not, don't want to be in tune with that type of negativity and stereotypical craziness that gets thrown out there, just ignore it. Let it go. If you give them the platform, they're going to continue to have that platform. Remove yourself from it. And that's at some point, somebody's going to get tired and realize the truth. And then they're just going to go away one day. That's just what it's going to come down to. But we have to stop giving people that type of platform. And then eventually they're going to end up going away because they're not going to have that platform anymore. They're not going to have the viewers, the money, or whatever have you. They're going to get shut down, removed, or whatever have you. But that's what we need to do as individuals in the society. If we really don't agree with it, don't give them. Yeah, okay, sometimes this stuff is funny or whatever, you know, like, you know, some of the shows on TV, we're giving them all the, oh yeah, did you see that? And so this and so that. You're giving them the platform. Don't blame anybody but yourself.
Right.
Yes.
So anyway, with that said, Travis, you're the man. Okay.
Yes.
Our brothership. And we have plenty of other men.
Were there any more questions? Anybody have questions in the audience or anything like that? But I think this was great. I love this.
I want to say one thing. Earlier, I said that I was on this side, right? And I said throughout the conversation, we'll see if I balance myself out. But I realized I'm still on the other side because I recognize that a strong person, a strong individual recognizes when they are able to be docile. Meaning when they're able to be coachable, when they're able to be teachable. And not for nothing, I'm getting ready to go into another class later on this evening, I should say, with the mindset coach with the investment her. So yes, as a strong person, I understand where I need to be, I want to say influenced, coached, helped. So yeah.
And
motivated.
I'm going to tell you real quick, friend Trish, as your friend, as your coach here on the show, you are both. And it's not like on one side, because strictly by definition based, right? Now what society projects or other people say, or these men and these women, you are both. That's what makes you a great woman. You are both. You are both strong and docile, right? You are both powerful and resilient. Like, you see, these are things that we need to say to connect the points.
Gotcha.
They go together. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That's just it. So you're all of it. You're all of it. You don't want to be just strong on one end of the stick, because
Okay.
now you weak down here. And I'm not saying strong and outside. I mean, no, when you only know one point, back to control, right? You're leaving room for weakness.
Right.
So that's what I mean. You want to be both.
Balanced.
Both are good, because that's right. It goes back to being balanced, because there's a time and place for each of them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's in relationships with friends, that's in your relationship with your spouse, co-workers, all of it. Like they go in hand, right? You know when it's time to speak up, and then I'm like, all right, I'm gonna let this ride.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. So at the end of the day, that's it. And we are here to, just learn and grow together. And I think more conversations like this are so needed, because people need to understand what being taught is, and being controlled is, being manipulated, being influenced by society only, and social media, because most of us did not grow up with social media. This is brand new.
Yes.
This is brand new. And now people don't have to do research. They just turn on their phones and by people that they like, and it's like, oh, this is what it means to be beautiful. And the scary part about, like, what about our children though, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what's going on. This is what it means to be pretty. This is what it means. That's why I stick solely by knowing who you are first, because then those projections not going to hit hard like that, because you're going to be okay with yourself, because there are a lot of things that are put out here about Black women, but all women.
Yes.
On society, and for us to have girls, that's real problematic. But you have to strengthen your child. You have to let them know both sides of the coin. So that's what I'll say. That's the place I'll give. So I want to say, friend, you are both, and be proud of being both.
Thank
proud
you.
of balance.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sherry, you have children. So how did you, and I know Taja, you have children as well, but Sherry, you have a daughter, correct? You have a daughter and
two daughters and a
you
son.
got 2 daughters and a son. So as they grew up, and again, you came, through a marriage and divorced, and, on your own now as a single mother, what did you teach your children from this, strong, docile, like, is that even conversations that you had with your children as it relates to even women?
The one thing that I always taught my kids, my adults, because they are all adults now, and they are parents. So the one thing I've been teaching my children, and I still teach them to this day, because you don't ever get too old to learn.
That's true.
I learn every day.
Yeah.
Amen.
I learned a lot just listening to the conversation that was happening today too. So I told my children, don't do me, do better than me.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, love that.
And in a manner with that, especially with my daughters, I taught them with education. That was key for me. The one thing people that know me know that things that are big with me is breaking generational curses.
Mm-hmm.
Things that was generational, that was held on to. It's huge to teach, to be taught that we can do something different, that we don't have to continue in the cycles.
Yeah.
Like we could actually stop that wheel
Mm-hmm.
and actually go another direction. When we are children, we have and this is what I taught my children. I told my children this every day: respect your home, respect yourself. You teach people how to respect you.
Mm-hmm.
If you have no respect for your house, they won't respect it. When you walk into my house, you are to teach your friends to hang up their jackets. And they will learn that by watching you. I don't care what they do in their house.
Yeah.
Right.
We are not taught the same. We are not raised the same. So my daughter, she actually, sometimes my kids make me eat my own words. And
oh, do they now? Look.
And I actually had to face that. Like, there's some people that have walked in my house, took their jacket off and it landed on the stairs, but there's a coat rack. No, not in my house. When you come in my mother's house, you have to do this, this, and this. And this is what I taught my kids. What I told my daughters was that they had to know who they are. They have to truly learn who they are. My son, the same thing. I didn't treat my son and my daughters different in the manners. I mean, I had to teach my daughter certain things because males don't experience certain things.
Right.
And vice versa. I couldn't teach my son how to be a man, but I could teach him how to treat a woman. So one thing I taught all of them was they all had to learn to cook and clean and be able to take care of themselves. They also don't let somebody define them. Know who you are, know your worth. So no one can teach you who they think you should be.
Yeah.
That's right.
Know your worth so no one can discount you.
Yes.
Or put a price tag on you and call you cheap. All three of my kids, I'm working on my bachelor's and my master's degree at the same time. All of my kids, though, are working on their master's degree because as soon as mom has her bachelor's, they got to do better. So when I got my associate degree, I told my kids, don't do me, do better than me. If I get my associate degree, you got to get your bachelor's degree. All three of them got their bachelor's degree. I said, now I'm trying to work on a master's degree. So you guys, y'all got to beat me out with this. Now I'm finishing up my bachelor's and I'm going for my master's. That means they're going to have to move forward and to beat me out with that as well, because now they're going to be doing better than me. Mm-hmm. So don't let somebody define who you are by putting a title on you.
That's right.
You are who God says you are.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
And God has big plans for you.
That's right.
I taught each of my kids that. Respect yourself. That's key. Like learning who you are is key because you have to learn that you can respect yourself. Mm-hmm. I may not like everything. I may not like everything you say. I may not like everything you do. I may not like the people that you surround yourself with. Mm-hmm. But I always got you. I got your back and I support you. So teaching kids is just it's the same thing we are. We are technically children. Mm-hmm. And that's how we should learn. Let me say that. We should learn like children because children learn with an open mind.
Yes.
Yes.
They're not stuck in this, I'm set in my ways and you're gonna have to deal with it.
No. Children are like sponges. They
say that. Yep. Sponges.
Yep.
So to me, that's important. And now my children have children and or having children. And I always remind them, mm-hmm. Be kind to them, be gentle to them. The same patience you have with somebody else's child, you have to have with yours.
Right.
Yes.
You cannot be so firm with them that they feel uncomfortable or they curl into a shell or something, and yet you gave somebody that tenderness that they needed at that moment. Mm-hmm. So those are the kind of things that I've taught my kids. Everybody may not agree with it, but that's who I find. That's how I found to raise my adults. My oldest is 34. My middle is going to be 29, and my youngest is going to be 27.
God bless.
And look, nobody else has to be okay with it.
I don't actually care what other people think. Y'all got the right one.
That's it.
It sounds like you did a hell of a job for me. Yep.
Look,
but I learned a lot from you ladies today. Let me tell you, we got very few minutes left, but I actually learned so much. The mindset coach, for those of you who don't know, please look her up. Achieve Her Network.
Oh, thank you.
Listen to me. Let her change your mindset and help you, coach you to be a better you. The only person you have competition with today is who you were yesterday.
That's right.
So My sister Stefania, if y'all want some bling bling, look her up. She is the one. And my sister Trish. For those of you that don't know, Miss Natural is here, can help you help others. So look her up. She is a jewel, is a product that she sells, one of her many successful endeavors. So I say to you ladies, I thank you all. I thank you, Tiffany Coe, also known as Bling, for giving us a platform to actually share conversation and communication with.
Yes.
For the brothership that is listening, and for all of you out there that are listening to us, we say thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your support. Thank you for being a part of this and this conversation and the many more that we have. If you haven't seen some shows, please go back on YouTube, look up the Sistahship Network and take a listen. See what else good things we got going. I thank you, ladies. I thank you. I thank you. I thank you for teaching me some more new things. So that's the docile part of me, right? That's my little balance to interconnect.
We are all learning today. No,
Yes.
this
Yes.
is definitely, I hope that this audience learned a lot and also was able to absorb what we put out there. And again, you know, our opinions are what they are, and we hope that everybody listens in on a regular basis. To Sherry's point, I want to thank the ladies that came on today. I love y'all. All my sisters here at the Sistahship Network.
That's right.
Do remember that we do have the Brothership that airs every first Sunday of the month, same time right here on YouTube at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are here every other Sunday as well. All, you know, Sundays post the Brothership from 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And we're also on air on Thursdays at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Sistahship.com, Genesis Radio. Load the app. Please go on YouTube and subscribe to the Sistahship Network. We are here for you guys, and I hope you all enjoyed the shows. To Sherry's point, thank you, Lady Wisdom. Thank you, Taja, our mindset coach.
Always.
And thank you, Trish. Miss
Thank
Trish.
y'all.
She is
Right.
a jewel. And and our one and only Tiffany Coe Bling from the Sistahship, our CEO of the Sistahship. If it wasn't for her, we wouldn't be here today. So thank you.
That's
And for
right.
all you, if we didn't have you all, we wouldn't be here today.
Right.
So thank you all for listening
Yes.
in. We'll see you guys again next Sunday. Love y'all.
Let's talk. We don't want to see you hurt and be here for each other. No matter the color.
Networking.
Everyone.
Hi.
On a Sistahship.
We on the Sistahship.
We on the Sistahship.
We on the Sistahship. Where my sisters, we got
Yes, my sisters, you know, we in our road.
Where my sisters,